Hi everyone, I'm John, and welcome back to Puzzle Me This. This is part 4, so it is the 3-month update on the 42,000 piece Around the World puzzle. Now I didn't know how much time I'd get to spend up here in the last 3 months because winters in Pennsylvania can be pretty cold. And I started this in January. And if it's too cold out, I don't heat up here and don't come up. And we've had a few cold spells of maybe 3 or 4 days here and there that no puzzling was done. But for the most part this year, the temperature has been pretty decent. We've had a lot of days that have been around 50, which is 10 degrees Celsius, and even a few days, especially here lately, that have been around 60, which is probably 15 Celsius. So I'm looking forward to spring and summer when I can come up for an hour at a time here and there and not have to heat. Heat the whole upstairs. It's insulated good, so it holds the heat once it gets up to temperature, but it takes a good while to get this space up to temperature. Our time so far on the puzzle has been 676 hours. Now that includes everybody. Like I said before, Mom and Dad come up most every day that I'm up here for a few hours, maybe 3 or 4 hours, and family members, a few of them have been over maybe once every couple weeks or so for a few hours. I think 3 friends have been over so far for a couple hours each, and it'll be nice in the spring and the summer when I don't have to heat up here and they can come over more often. I figured out my personal time up here and divided that by the weeks, and on average so far I've spent a little over 34 hours a week puzzling. Now that includes all the sorting and the puzzling. That's just my time. That's not including everyone else's. I didn't add all theirs up. Okay, let me show you what we've done so far. Now, on last month's video, I had a lot of cardboards all over the table and not much actually on the table yet. This month, everything that was pretty well complete, I took off the cardboards and put on the table about where it actually goes. So the cardboards that you see on the table now aren't covering any completed sections. There might be a couple that are covering just pieces that we have set out, but nothing that is completed. That way I can show you everything that we have done. One thing that I noticed was that the guy who drew this puzzle is named Adrian Chesterman. And there's a sign right here. It says Adrian Chesterman. So he snuck his name in the puzzle. And I'm not sure where it actually is. I believe it's above the horse in this window right here, but I'm not sure. And there's a place over here, I don't hope you can see it okay, in this rock that looks like a face. Now, I've seen a couple pictures of Adrian Chesterman, and it could be him. It also could be a young Elton John. if you remember Elton John back in the day, he always wore big outlandish glasses. And it kind of looks like maybe that guy has glasses on in the picture. Or maybe that's just me seeing a face that's not really there. But once I see it, I can't unsee it. Now, Adrian Chesterman is also the same artist, the same guy who did the 33,600 piece wildlife puzzle. And I know that Vicky from Vicky Makes and Builds is working on that puzzle. So maybe if she sees anything like a vine or something where maybe he snuck his name in, or a lion or an animal that looks suspiciously like Elton John, maybe she'll let us know if he snuck his name or picture in that puzzle. We still haven't gotten the border done down here yet. I like doing the buildings because there's a pattern and they're kind of logical, most of them, and they're easy for me to work on. Now, once I get done the buildings, or the modern buildings, I should say, the skyscrapers and all, then maybe I'll start on the sky and take my sky pieces and arrange them all according to shape. I think that'll be the best way to try to get them together because there's just so many pieces. I don't know if you can see over there on that table, the stack against the wall to the right is actually the sky pieces. So there's a good many of them yet that aren't even on the table yet. So Mom has been working on the Aurora Borealis, the Northern Lights, up here in this corner. Now, some of this stuff you've actually seen before, but we're always adding pieces that we come across that we remember fit somewhere. Now, this building here, I learned, most of you probably already know this already, and I had to learn through trial and error. There was a lot of error involved, that when you're taking buildings off cardboards and putting them on the table, not to push your pieces off of the cardboard. Hold the pieces still and slide the cardboard out from under it. And I do have a video of that, of me doing that with this building. So I will try to splice that in here if I can. It's funny how big a building looks on the cardboard. And then when I put it on the table, it doesn't look as big anymore. And that was the case with this one. It really covered a piece of cardboard really decent. And I put it on the table, and it's just a little spot on this whole table. So it kind of takes the wind out of your sails a little bit. You think you're really going to cover a big area, and it just doesn't. Dad has been working a lot on the signs and the animals, which has been a big help, because when I work on a building, a lot of them have signs next to them. So I can work on the building and then kind of work one of his signs into it. So that always makes it a little bigger area that's done. But I have this building done. Not done, but most of it. And where it meets, I think that's an oil derrick. It has Welcome to Texas on it. And some of the snake. We're slowly finding snake pieces. This building, I think, was here last month. This is a building that Dad mostly put together. I've been working the last couple of days on the Washington Monument. Now, the Washington Monument goes between that building and this one. And here's the Central Park sign and some of the taxi, the checkered cab that we have. And this building. And that sign connects to it. I think I'm missing one piece that would connect that building to the sign. Some of the buildings that I've been working on, the first time when I went through the building cardboards, which are these here. They're the building cardboards in this pile. And the first time I went through them, I picked out maybe 7 or 8 or 9 buildings. And it was funny because it turned out that a lot of the things I picked out, like I picked out this blue color and then this color as separate buildings. And it turns out that a lot of the buildings have a shaded side and a lighted side. And even this one, I had this separated as 2 separate buildings because the colors are different. And they ended up going together. This time, when I went through to pick more buildings out, I just picked a whole bunch of buildings out. And I kind of overdid it because when I go back through the cardboards to look for pieces, or I find a piece that I recognize, I have so many buildings in my head now that I don't remember exactly where it goes. Some of the ones that I'm working on that I don't have a lot done yet is this one and these two. They're side by side. They have a little bit of the pyramids between them and just some dark ones here. And then some of these are just lines that go someplace. Then there's this building and this glass pyramid. I believe there are 2 sheep that go in the space that I'm missing there. Some other ones that I've been working on is this building with, I believe, the London Eye in front of it, the big Ferris wheel. This is some that I haven't really started to put together yet, but that's a lot of pieces with little lines going up and down on them. And then there's some of these buildings that kind of go together, so I keep working from one to the next. This building here has this building which is kind of like it next to it, so I'm trying to get that together. Here, the tall building, I think that was here last month. Now, I don't know if I had as much done on the 2 side buildings next to it. And this building had 2 signs. It had this one and this one, which I haven't quite connected this bottom part to it yet. Mom's been looking for these pieces. And some of this, we thought this would be easier. And we are finding some of them. I've been looking through building pieces mostly so far. And there's brown cardboards and a lot of yellowish cardboards that I haven't even looked through yet. So that's going to be a whole nother project once I get done with buildings. or skyscrapers, I should say, the modern buildings. A lot of the old buildings are a yellowish color, and they're going to be trickier to build. Mom was working on this, Mom and Dad, I believe. They were working on that. And this, I picked out a lot of bright colored pieces and kept them separate when I was sorting. And there are a couple cardboards here of bright pieces. And I think Mom picked out the ones that were bright that she thought went with this building. And so they're working on that. A couple of the flowers and the vase. And this building with the dragon in front. I'm still finding, every once in a while, I'll find a dragon piece. This building, once in a while, I'll find a bright yellow line on a piece that I know it goes with this building. We put this on the table just a couple days ago, and we were really excited to do that because this building connects down to the roof of these buildings, the same building but different roofs on it, and that covers a pretty big area on the table. And so we were excited to get that done. And that's another building that it was all purple, or purple lines on one side, and then the kind of, diagonal lines on the other. And that turned out to be the same building, and I had that separated as separate buildings. And then this building, there's still a couple pieces of it I need, especially at the bottom here. But that connects to the Petronas towers here that go up. And that had a sign next to it, this sign, and that kind of connected that to the roof of this building. And then we just kept working off of that. So now we're over to here with those buildings. And here's some other things. Here's a building here that connects. I think that one connects above the Foss Street up here, pretty close to the border. We haven't found much of that yet, and maybe we can get most of that together pretty soon. I was working on this bridge, and that connected to a sign that Dad had, so we got them two together. And and the signs, I didn't show you the signs. The signs are coming together pretty good. I thought they would be really easy. And some of them are, but some of them aren't. Some of them, where they just have green, I may have them mixed in with the green pieces and not known it was a sign. But some of them are pretty good, easy to tell. But we have a lot of different ones. There's a lot of signs in the puzzle. And so we're getting there with the signs. We do have some of our pieces over here. And then we have some on the tables over here too. So I didn't show you the Eiffel Tower. That probably looks about the same. I did find a couple pieces for it this month. So this is where it is 3 months into it. If anyone else is working on this puzzle and wants to see close-ups of a certain area, let me know. I want to thank everyone for watching and listening to me ramble on. The YouTube puzzling community is really a great group of people, and I appreciate all of you. I hope to talk to you again next month, and until then, go put your puzzle together.